One, when you're working with these greats, be it Ashish Nehra or Sachin Tendulkar, is there an element of nervousness involved at that level?
Yeah. Yes.
The second sub question is about the guys who don't perform and eventually get dropped and eventually don't have a great career. What goes wrong? And is it linked to my first question?
The level of nervousness in playing against them, are you talking about me as an individual or other athletes?
I'm assuming that Sachin Tendulkar was nervous during the 2003 World Cup as well.
Of course. Yeah.
Even Sachin Tendulkar was
Yes.
nervous.
Sachin was always nervous because he understood. It comes back to the research I said earlier on. The great players understand the burden of responsibility on them to bring this home. They understand, they know it. So there's a phenomenal amount of pressure. Messi feels it. If you watch, there's a beautiful documentary on Netflix called Captains of the World.
Yeah, highly recommended.
Highly recommended. Brilliant. You saw it there, isn't Messi said, oh my God, I have to bring this in. He said that, I have to bring this to Argentina. I owe it to my people. South Africa winning the World Cup, it's not about, I tell people, South Africa have won 50% of the rugby World Cups they've participated in. Why? It's the most phenomenal statistic in World Cups, in any sport. It's because they don't tell themselves, we give our best. They tell themselves, we have to do what is needed to get that result. So anyone is feeling pressure. The greats are feeling a phenomenal amount of pressure because they know everything is hedged on them, And sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a bad thing. I remember on the final of that World Cup, I woke up at 5 a.m. I was extremely nervous. And Javagal Srinath and Sachin Tendulkar were already down. And the game was starting much later in the afternoon. They were already down. They just couldn't sleep. There was a lot of nervous energy in there because it mattered. It's exactly how we started the conversation talking about the current World Cup final. It's not an ordinary day. And when you tell yourself it's an ordinary day, you're lying to yourself and there's this mental tussle. You're trying to convince yourself that a really special day is an ordinary day. It doesn't work. What is needed for those people who don't make it? One of the best examples I'm going to give you, and maybe we'll show it to the audience when you're showing this, is the world of art. I'm going to give you 3 examples that are beautiful. In 1917, there was an artist named Marcel Duchamp. He took a urinal and he put it on a wall and it became a masterpiece. Every other person that put a urinal in a museum was a plumber installing it in a toilet. A few years ago, an Italian artist by the name of Maurizio Catalan took a banana and duct tape and stuck it on a wall. And he sold it for $120,000 US. And 6 months ago, Jens Harning, an artist from a Nordic artist, got commissioned 84,000 euros by a museum to do 2 pieces. And he posted 2 blank canvases to them. Blank canvases. And he got paid 84,000 US dollars. What is this an example of? This is an example of courage. To you and me, this looks ridiculous. We would never pay it. But it worked. Courage only rewards the first. The people who struggle to unlock greatness are the ones who are supremely talented, who are putting in the hard work. They lack the courage to try. They lack the courage to do something different. They lack the courage to listen to their heart because deep down, they know what is needed. It's just, if it doesn't go right, how am I going to answer for it? But if it goes right, it's the end of the world. Courage is actually the thing that 99% of the people need a little more of. And courage is a byproduct of an ecosystem that's going to tell you it's okay if it goes wrong.
I'd asked KL about how he came up the ranks in a very competitive Karnataka Ranji ecosystem.
Yeah.
He thought a lot and then he answered by saying self-belief probably. He's like, hold on. Yeah, it was probably just self-belief. That's all he said. Yeah. Which is probably linked to what you're saying.
Yeah, it is self-belief. And it's also, the Karnataka ecosystem is quite tough. One of the guys I used to feel really sorry for was Karun Nair, who was with me at Kings 11. Karun, his last match he played for India, he scored 300 in a test match and got dropped. Never got called again. He did nothing wrong. The problem is that the Indian cricket ecosystem has such an expulsion of talent that you literally don't have to do anything wrong to not be looked at. That is the harsh reality of what it is. It's going to require something special. Also, it's a requirement of the time and when Dhoni was the wicketkeeper. No other wicketkeeper was looked at for a decade. Why? Because that position was taken. When Virat's batting at 3 or 4, we're not going to look anywhere else for a 3 or 4. So sometimes it's timing. And I know you're a deeply spiritual person, and the first lesson I teach all of my athletes, every single athlete of mine, this is the first thing I teach them, which comes from the Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 18, verse 14, Krishna tells Arjuna, there are 5 things needed for success. You have to be the right person for the job. You have to have the right tools available to you. You have to be in the right place, and you have to put in the right amount of hard work and effort. And he says, these are the 4 that are in your control. The 5th variable is invisible. It could be luck, it could be destiny, it could be all the energy that you have not done anything to that's helped it come together. He says, these are the 5 things needed for success. And he tells him, ego is the inability to recognize the 5th variable in your success.
Oof.
Powerful. Powerful. And humility is when you see it. Right. So I tell athletes, if you look at only the 4 variables, you're going to blame the whole world. There's a 5th variable, and we have no control over it.